This is DC Channel Guns. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
What up? This is DC Channel Guns coming back with you another video, people. I appreciate you for tuning in. If you don't mind, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification. And the most important thing, people, don't cost you nothing, share the video. So with that said, people, I want to appreciate all my subscribers. I want to appreciate the ones been hanging with me since day one. I want to appreciate the ones that got on board. We are the box over here. And, I want to really do videos on, real situations, people. I'm talking about, I was listening to somebody a couple days ago. A lot of people, want to sit back, they get them a gun and stuff, and then they come up with these scenarios, and, they're picturing, hey, they think it's going to work out in their favor in some of these scenarios, and that is not the way things work, people. I'm talking about, we can go over a lot of scenarios and everything, but you don't know how these scenarios going to go. So right now it's dark, and I want to talk about concealed carrying at night. Now, I had a friend who brought a topic to me one time, and he was talking about, the gun lights and lasers and all this kind of stuff and everything. And, all that stuff is cool. Don't get me wrong. I have nothing against all these gun lights and lasers and stuff. But people, you're not on a video game. I'm talking about in a real shooting situation, you have bullets flying at you and stuff like that. So you don't, this is not a game where you think you're going to sit back and turn your laser on and you're going to actually put your laser on somebody and get to shoot them or turn your gun light on. It's not going to work like that, people. I'm talking about, I hate to bust a lot of people's bubble. I hate to, I'm talking about, I hate to spoil all the good news out here. I know the laser company and the flashlight company, they selling all this stuff. But you have to know when to use that stuff, when not to use it. So I'm talking about, just because you have a laser on your gun, whether it's green, red, whatever the case may be, you can't be turning on lasers and stuff and in a situation that you about to use your firearm and stuff. Because for one, depends on the situation, you are pretty much, that is a target where you at. If they know that you got a laser, they know, hey, where he at and stuff like that. They know you got a gun light, hey, they know where you at and stuff like that. So, you have to kind of be mindful when you're using these things that, you have on your firearm. And one of my friends, he got all this stuff on his gun. And I'm like, the number one thing you need to be worried about is not to get shot. And guess what? Know where you're targeting stuff at, what you're shooting. You might not have time to be playing with these two little things, these lights and stuff like you ain't got time for all that. You got bullets flying, people. You not got time for to play with lasers and lights and stuff like that. And that's what I'm trying to get through my friend here. You can't, you don't have time for that. I'm talking about, it's gonna be more like if the situation pop off, I'm talking about the most important thing, you better hope that you can get the first draw to defend yourself. And, if you got family with you, whatever the case may be, you better hope you can get the first draw to get the shot to stop the threat. That is the most important thing. But thinking you're going to play with lasers and lights and stuff like that, like you're on a video game, people, it's not going to happen that way. I'm just telling you. I have seen situations where you have officers, they got lights and stuff on their gun and stuff like that. And even in a lot of situations, they're not even activating their gun lights and stuff like that. Now, in some situations, they do it. But, these are situations when, hey, they're looking for a suspect and stuff like that, or he's hiding under a car and stuff like that. It is certain ways they're using them type of tools and stuff. And you're going to have to think about certain ways you're going to have to use them type of tools. But to think you can just be active, have your gun light and lasers and stuff on, I'm telling you, people, it is not going to be that efficient that you think it is. The key thing that you need to be focusing on is not getting shot, and defending yourself. It's bad enough when you got a high adrenaline situation to pull the firearm out and point and, put your, take the stop the target and stuff like that. But when you got bullets flying back at you, you think you're going to have lasers and lights. I'm talking about it's going to be as easy as you think it is. And it could cost you your life. You could get shot. trying to use these things that you're seeing people talking about and all this kind of stuff. So, before you start talking about you're going to do all this type of stuff with all these things that you have in your firearm, people, the most important thing you need to be worrying about is getting the first shot to defend yourself in a self-defense situation. So I'm talking about it happens faster than a lot of people can blink their eye. It don't take long for a couple shots to be fired. And, like I said before, whether it's from you or whatever the case may be, but in a self-defense situation, you need to be focused on saving yourself. I'm talking about, saving yourself, defending you and your family, not getting shot, people. I'm talking about, but far as all these lasers and lights, it's cool and stuff, but it's not going to be, point A and B that I'm hearing people saying and everything. Now, I have nothing against it. But at night, it's different at night. You got more blind spots. I don't hear, I'm listening to these people talking about, the lasers and lights, and I'm saying to myself, at night, when you got dim light or in any situation, your target is not going to be flashing their light on their firearm and stuff where you know where they're at. They're not going to do that, people. They're not going to be turning their gun lights and lasers on. Now you know where they're at. They're not going to do that. And if you do that, then you're a target. So I'm talking about it's one of them things that, a lot of people is getting carried away talking about, but I don't think they're actually thinking through the scenario. But see, everybody that carries a firearm always thinks about them winning the situation. And you have to learn how to look at what if you don't win that situation? You see what I'm saying? But when the situation come about, you got to learn, got to be quick, think quick, and learn not to do something dumb, or something stupid that can cause you to get shot. So, when it comes to these scenarios and stuff, I think a lot of people just jumping out of the gun, people, they're not really thinking about it and stuff. And like I said before, it's all cool to have all that stuff on your firearm, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is you're not getting shot and knowing where your target and stuff at, and not let these things that you have on your firearm cause you to get shot. So, I think just some people need to think through some of these situations, and, and like I said before, it is not, you're not going to have all this time. I'm listening to people who think they got 20, 30 minutes to be playing with their firearm with lasers and lights. It's not going to be like that. I'm talking about nobody's going to give you all that time to do all this stuff with your lasers and lights, people. I'm just saying. But I just want to make that point across because, I'm just hearing too many people thinking that they just got all this time and stuff. You're not going to have all this time, people. I'm talking about even if when you draw your firearm, I'm talking about, you have to be quick. So that means you must know where your target at. You must know what the situation is, fluent situation, what's going on right then. It's bad enough to try to, a lot of people to get a shot off and everything and stuff like that. But you think you're gonna play with lasers and all this kind of stuff. But then when you got bullets flying back at you, that's a whole nother situation, people. Now your adrenaline, you really gonna be in distress and stuff. And I looked at a lot of shooting situations and stuff. When police officers, it's not what it's a different ball game. When your adrenaline is rushing, I'm talking about, you don't have a lot of time to be doing a whole lot of all this extra stuff. You just don't, people. So I think we need to rethink some of this stuff and not make it seem like, you gonna have all, you just not, people. I'm talking about, I hate to be the bad news bear and everything, but you're just not. But I know when it's dark and stuff like that, dim light, you got a lot of blind spots and stuff like that. And a lot of shootings happen at night. And most of the time when shooting happen, most people don't know where the shot's coming from. I'm talking about, they said it was over there, but it could have been over there. I'm talking about, because, at night, it's echoing different places and stuff. You can't hardly see. So, night is a different ball game. But to think you're going to be having all these lasers and stuff and gun lights and stuff flashing all over the place, you're going to make yourself a target. So just rethink that laser and light situation and stuff like that when you're carrying people. So this is DC Channel Guns, and I'll catch you on the next one.
This is DC Channel Guns. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.